You think you know what sex is. You've seen it, felt it, craved it, maybe even been ashamed of it. But what if everything you've ever believed about sex wasn't just wrong, but completely upside down? What if sex, the most judged, misunderstood, and feared force in human life, was never meant to be repressed, never meant to be glorified, but simply understood? What if sex is not a sin, but a seed? Osho, the mystic rebel who defied all religions and spiritual systems, said something no spiritual teacher before him dared to say: sex is your most powerful energy. If lived unconsciously, it becomes lust. If lived consciously, it becomes love. And if dissolved in awareness, it becomes God. To the world, that sounded like madness. To the spiritual community, it sounded like blasphemy. But to Osho, it was truth, because he had seen what the world did to this energy, how it chained it in guilt, how it distorted it into addiction, how it hid it behind robes and rituals. And he said, enough. Sex, he claimed, was never the enemy. Unawareness was. We've been taught to divide life, sacred and profane, body and soul, desire and devotion. But what if that division itself is the illusion? Osho didn't preach celibacy. He didn't advocate indulgence. He invited presence, not to worship sex, but to look through it. Because somewhere inside that moment of fire and vulnerability, there is something deeper waiting to be seen. And that something is you. Not the you who performs or hides or seeks validation, but the you who simply is. So in this video, we won't be asking if sex is right or wrong. We won't be quoting scriptures or moral codes. We will walk with Osho, right into the most taboo territory of all, the human body, the longing heart, the place where ego dissolves and being begins. Because if sex is a door, then maybe, just maybe, it's time we opened it. Let's begin with a truth nobody wants to admit. Sex is the most powerful energy in the human body. It creates life. It drives empires. It burns down marriages. It builds fantasies. And it breaks people. But sex is not the problem. The problem is unconsciousness. Osho saw it clearly. He said, sex is not sin. Unawareness is the sin. For thousands of years, religion told us to suppress, to resist, to be pure by force. But suppression doesn't kill desire. It hides it. And whatever you repress controls you from the shadows. Osho wasn't interested in repression. He was interested in transformation. He said, don't deny it. Don't indulge it. Observe it. Because when you observe desire, without judgment, without running, something begins to shift. The desire melts. The compulsion weakens. And underneath it, you find silence. That's what Osho meant when he said sex can become meditation. Because in a moment of total presence, when the mind stops, when the body opens, when the ego vanishes, there is no me and you anymore. Just energy, just being, just awareness. It's rare, but if it happens, you will never look at sex the same way again. You'll see that it was never about bodies or positions or climax. It was about union, not of flesh, but of essence. And that union is sacred. Osho called it the first glimpse of samadhi available to ordinary people. But here's the tragedy. Most people never get there. They're trapped in repetition, seeking more, getting less, mistaking intensity for intimacy, mistaking need for love. They chase sex to escape themselves, but you can't escape yourself forever. Eventually, you hit a wall, or a breakdown, or a moment of deep silence that shakes you. And then you realize sex never fulfilled you. It only distracted you from the emptiness. That's where Osho comes in. Not to take sex away, but to reveal what it hides. He said, sex is a seed. If you meditate, it becomes a flower. But to reach that flower, you must face your shadows. You must ask yourself, why am I drawn to this person? What do I hope they'll fix in me? Am I present with them, or just using them? These questions aren't sexy, but they're sacred, because they point to the real journey, the one that starts not between two bodies, but between you and your own silence. Osho didn't glorify sex. He demystified it, disarmed it, so it could be seen clearly. And once you see something clearly, you're free from it. Not because it disappears, but because it no longer controls you. That's real freedom. Not celibacy, not indulgence, but choice. Rooted in awareness. And when that awareness deepens, even sex transforms. It becomes slower, softer, quieter. It's no longer a fire consuming you. It's a light revealing you. You stop trying to get anything from the other because you've touched something in yourself that is already whole. And when two people meet from that space, not from lack, but from presence, then sex is no longer sex. It becomes a prayer, not to a God outside, but to the stillness within. This is the alchemy Osho talked about, from craving to clarity, from instinct to intimacy, from possession to presence. It's not a technique. It's not a philosophy. It's a shift that happens when you're willing to go deep enough, but let's go deeper. Why is this transformation so rare? Because most people don't stay with their desire long enough to understand it. They either act on it, compulsively, or suppress it, fearfully. But rarely do they sit with it, watch it, breathe with it. Osho taught that sitting with desire, without moving, is a doorway. You begin to see what's underneath the urge. Is it really love or loneliness? Is it passion or pain? Is it longing or escape? And as you keep watching, something remarkable happens. You stop being in desire, and you start becoming the witness. The witness that is the beginning of awakening. And from there, even sex becomes something else entirely. It becomes a mirror that shows you how present or absent you are. A mirror that reflects your clinging, your fear, your hopes, and your silence. In this way, sex can become a teacher, not one that gives you pleasure, but one that brings you presence, not one that feeds your fantasies, but one that burns them away. Osho said, when you bring awareness into your deepest instincts, you bring light into your darkest caves. That light is what transforms desire into meditation, and the body into temple. But only if you're willing to stay with the fire, without being consumed by it. And once you learn to sit in that fire, you stop fearing it. You stop needing sex to escape, because you've made peace with what it tried to cover. In Osho's world, sex is not something to conquer, nor something to chase. It's simply a wave, and you are the ocean. When you realize that, you stop clinging to the wave, because the ocean was always you. But not everyone is willing. Most are afraid. Because to truly understand what Osho meant, you have to look at sex without filters, without guilt, without fantasy. You have to look at yourself. And that's terrifying, because maybe you'll see that all along, you weren't searching for pleasure. You were searching for wholeness. and you thought sex would give it to you. But sex can't give you what you won't give yourself. No orgasm, no body, no connection will ever replace the silence you've been avoiding. Osho knew this. That's why he said, sex is not love. But sex can become love, and love can become meditation, and meditation can become godliness. He wasn't trying to shock you. He was trying to free you from shame, from addiction, from the lie that your fulfillment is outside of you. Because the truth is, sex is not dirty, but your mind is full of dirt. Sex is not sacred until you are present within it. And when you are, when you breathe through it, when you bring light into the act, when you are fully there, fully vulnerable, fully surrendered, then something opens. And it's not physical. It's a door beyond craving, beyond thought, beyond time. In that moment, you don't make love. You are love, not needing, not proving, just existing, naked and whole. And from that space, everything becomes sacred. Not just sex, but a touch, a breath, a glance, a pause. Osho never wanted you to escape life. He wanted you to wake up within it, to see the divine, not in temples, but in yourself. And maybe that's why people misunderstood him, because he didn't give you rules to follow. He gave you mirrors to face. He didn't say, be holy. He said, be aware, and you'll discover your holiness was never missing. So now, the question is not about sex. It's about presence. Can you bring presence into your desire? Can you breathe into your hunger without being owned by it? Can you turn instinct into insight? Because if you can, then even sex can become sacred. But here's the paradox. The more you chase sacredness by denying desire, the more distant it becomes. And the more you turn toward your shadows, with courage instead of shame, the more light you find there. This is what Osho embodied. He wasn't a saint. He wasn't trying to be holy. He was a mirror, a fire, a challenge to every false comfort we cling to. And maybe that's why his words still burn, because they don't offer peace. They offer clarity. They don't confirm your beliefs. They destroy them. They leave you naked, exposed, stripped of illusion. And in that nakedness, you might finally meet yourself. Not the self that performs, or obeys, or conforms, but the self that breathes, silently, in the background, waiting, always waiting, for you to stop chasing and start seeing that everything sacred was never out there. It was always in you. This was Osho's speech. Thank you for listening with presence. Until the next video, stay awake, stay silent, and stay true.